All right, so today we're in day 2 of the Gospel of Mark. All right, so you're in chapter 4. And chapter 4 opens with a pretty important section. It's Jesus beginning to teach in parables, which are these little short stories that have some powerful meanings. And the first parable is one of the most important ones because it's actually about parables. He talks about seed, and you can read this. There's 4 different types of seeds. He's talking to people who are typically planting things in the ancient world, and so they get this. He says there's seed that's thrown along a path, and it's eaten up by birds. Then there's seed that's thrown in real shallow soil, and it sprouts up quickly, but then it dies because it has no root. And then there's other seed that's sown among thorns, and it grows, but then it's choked by the thorns. And then you have seed that's sown in good soil, and it produces a crop, and it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies, and it's amazing, right? And so he says, he who has ears to hear, let him hear, like listen, right? And his disciples, his closest followers, they're like, yeah, we don't get this. And Jesus explains a little bit how people aren't going to get it, but then he explains to them what the actual meaning is. And he's talking about understanding his teaching, which is, it's like Inception. It's understanding within a story about understanding. And he says, okay, like, so there are some people that are gonna hear something and it's gonna hit them, and then it's just gonna fly away. It's gonna be gone. And he's like, then there's gonna be other people that hear things and they'll get excited and want to do something about it, but really won't give much thought to it, and so it'll be gone. And then there'll be other people that hear something, like hear a teaching, hear a lesson, it like does develop a root, but then other things compete with it and it eventually chokes it. And finally, you have people that hear carefully and they consider and they sit with it. And the impact of sitting with it, because you've heard it well, it's hard to measure. It's multiplication beyond what you can count. And so I think that's a good thing to focus on today. Like, you're going to read a bunch of things and you're going to hear some stuff that has the potential to hit you and bear fruit, like create results that are beyond measure. But it all comes back to if you're sitting with it and listening to it, if you have what Jesus says, ears to hear. Are you listening carefully? You're just like getting through it and moving on. Is it, like, so there's a lot to be said as you're reading this about how you're hearing it when you're reading it. So there's your note for today, chapters 4, 5, and 6. Hope that you have ears to hear and that the result from reading this will be multiply so much that it will be hard to measure the impact of what you've read today. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.